Let's go over. Where are we at? Hang on just a quick second here. Get y'all prepped up for this 2 days before the total lunar eclipse. So there's a film called Eden, and it was released on September 7th, which is the total lunar eclipse. 1 year to the day it would be. The wide release date was July 53rd of that 753. Um, Eden's URL has a 97 in it at IMDb. 23149, way up at the top there, 780. So the 497, the 97. Piece of cake, right? Um, let's get on with rest of today's prep. I don't think I've got anything in there. And here we go. No Time to Die in Gematria. It's got 7-7 in the English Gematria, which is 6 times English ordinal or 6 times simple Gematria. So there's your September 7th built into No Time to Die in Gematria. 187 actually comes to Donald J. Trump in simple Gematria and the English Gematria. Who knew? And the population of Aurora, Illinois, 18710. 710 is Eve. You've got 187. Now we know Aurora has been used. If Trump's penthouse has the portrait of Aurora, um, driving the chariot of Apollo, or Apollo's driving I forget. The chariot with Aurora and Apollo. And this is what Trump has in Trump Tower. Chariot of sun driven by Apollo. His chariot preceded by Aurora. Aurora. It's the same picture. Some have Aurora, some have Apollo, because one's doing one thing, the other's doing the other. Oh, so Aurora is pulling the chariot. Chariot of Aurora. Okay. Is she on a horse? It's very hard to tell. Um, and we'll just say Trump penthouse. Because this photo here says Apollo led by chariot by Aurora or something like that. It says Apollo led in his chariot by Aurora. That's what I remember. So Aurora, Colorado was the Dark Knight Rises movie theater event. FAKE STAGED event. So in Aurora, Illinois, and the land is 4497. What a coincidence. Because I'm 4497 days from October 28th, 1973. 4497. 404, Book of Revelations, verses. 97. That's our date. September 7th. It's also 12 years, 3 months, 22 days, 322 code. We know how that one YouTube channel kept saying the archway, which was opened on October 28th. The Gateway Arch in St. Louis opened October 28th. Bill Gates' birthday, October 28th. So there's something about that October 28th date and me to that date, whether I know somebody personally or not with that date doesn't matter. We have a mathematical anomaly where rotating numbers 628, 128 is what we're in now, and it goes on to infinity. So if I did, because our combined number, their number is 55244. When you multiply 10 times 28 times 1973, my number is 82362. When you multiply 7 times 6 times 1961, combined number is 455,000,6328. You multiply that by this year, in the middle is 628. There's actually two zeros at the end, but I always use a decimal because I hate looking at all the commas. Last year, times 2024, it had the 128 dead center. And it will rotate for 16 years, 628, 128. This goes on to infinity. I've gone back centuries. I've gone forward centuries. If you want to just, for instance, I better just key in the 455,000,6328 and times it by 1. That way I can always bring it up. So if you multiply it by the year he was born, 1946, instead of 128 like it is now, it's 123. Notice there's 88s on both sides, the year Trump was born. And now let's multiply it by the following year, 1947. Instead of 123, it's now 623. Multiply it by the year before, 1945. Still have the 623, so it's rotating at the 623, 123. Fascinating, eh? It's a mathematical anomaly. 4497. 97 would be when we're living in the book of Revelation in real time, hence 404 verses Revelation, 4497. 3 months, 22 days, 322 code. And I guess the AI knew to make sure for us to be looking at that, they put the land square mileage 44.97, which is why I went ahead and pointed that out. Then there's Aurora, Colorado. And Aurora, Colorado's zip codes, area codes. Area code has 720, has 303. Area code in Illinois, 630 and 331. 331 is Trump's number times the year. We showed you that yesterday, times this year, 2025. So let's be done with all of that. And now move on to our next prep. This is quite another one, just like yesterday's video. Mr. Needles is also 187, perfectly matched with the simple gematria and English gematria. Mr. Needles also matches Donald J. Trump in both ciphers. What are the chances? November 11, 17, you have the 5-9 in the, which is the date of the event for November 11, 17, which is when they had the Heidi game. The right eye utterly darkened Raiders playing the Jets to match the Bible verse of Zechariah 11:17. 266, so there's your 66 Revelation, and there's your 5-9 in your simple gematria and then your English gematria. If you just Google 9/11, you get to 869. Well, look at October times 28 times 1973, like we just talked to you about. That number is 55244. If you multiply that times this year, there is your 869. 9/11. Telling you this year is the year. Fuckyou is also, it's the next highest searched after 9/11. Hang on just a quick second. All right, so anyway, September 11. So that's a slang term people use. There's 166, 996, 1152. Not really a lot there with that one. How about Back to the Future in gematria? The 816 full moon that came from the total solar eclipse when I watched The Dark Knight. What I'm really looking at is personal ciphers. Let's look at On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So really and truly, let's get on with the best prep today. Hang on. All right, so, well, where'd my video go? Hang on just a quick second. All right, it was unlisted. How is that, you may ask? And there's full moon. So on the Wednesday last night, I was watching it, and when you add up that it began 4 seconds in, you add it all together, and there's 1 hour, 17 seconds left. Well, you add the 4 seconds plus the 17, it's actually the length of it, easy math, 1 hour, 21 seconds. Remove the zeros, that's just 121 Antichrist. They're coding Antichrist on their very first episode of the new Wednesday series. Straight up. It's called Here We Woe Again. Well, it's the next 9/11, isn't it? I've told y'all, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is 9/11, Here We Go Again. And it came out the same day as The Dark Knight Rises. Just like Mamma Mia came out the same day as The Dark Knight. But Mamma Mia coming out on the same day as The Dark Knight was also the same year, 2008. It was the exact same day. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again likewise came out July 20th, but 6 years later, 2018. So I'm telling you, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, which featured James Bond as the lead actor, Pierce Brosnan, the guy from Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, which he was the heavy against Daniel Craig's role. Daniel Craig is also James Bond. And then the third guy was from Kingsman Secret Service, which is an offshoot of James Bond, just like the movie The King's Man had the exact same ending as No Time to Die. A shot, a toast to the one that died. Bond died in No Time to Die, and then the one man's and M in James Bond, that actor who starred in Conclave, he was doing the toasting in both movies. So they're telling you the King's Man or the Kingsman series is James Bond. And so there was that same actor from the Kingsman, also in Mamma Mia, along with Pierce Brosnan and James Bond, along with the villain of The Girl in Dragon Tattoo, opposite Daniel Craig, James Bond. So Here We Woe Again is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is 9/11, Here We Go Again, which will be the right eye wound to the Antichrist. And notice they have the full moon. We're saying of September, which is a total lunar eclipse. And it's got the N for November. But you're like, wait, you're talking about the full moon in September. Yeah, but November's the 9th month. Like October was once the 8th month. October, octagon, octopus. September was once the 7th month. They were all bumped up because of Julius Augustus. December, decade, decameter, base tens. December was once the 10th month. So November really means 9, and our 9th month now is September. So they're saying September full moon. That happens to fall on a Friday. For the event, the full moon is on a Sunday. So a la Jesus, death and rising, anti-Jesus, death and rising, Friday to Sunday. We know Jesus died on Passover. The Sabbath, did it really line up with what we call Friday to Sunday? I have no idea. But the Dark Knight Rises came out 2 days after the Dark Knight, hence rising on the third day. They were 4 years apart, but they were 2 days apart with their release dates. We've already proved to you how they operate with their release dates. So this here is the full moon on the 9th month, September 9th. All right, what else? With this amazing prep we have here. The Florida Gators opening game. It's the Florida Gator, remember they're Devil's Advocate University. It's where they came and got Keanu Reeves' character out of Gainesville, Florida. And they said, "Go Gators," before the game started, doing shots. And the Sharks is their name, which is the beast out of the sea. And that's who the Gators play before that Friday. Because the Gators' next game would be after the event. So their only game before the event takes place, leading into the event on the Friday is the previous Saturday, they're playing the Long Island Sharks or Long Island University Sharks, LIU, which is 12921. That's palindrome, LIU, Long Island University. They're called LIU. L12, I is 9, and U is 21. 12921. It's palindrome, isn't it? They are the Sharks. If you look at their Wikipedia page where it says students, 16,322. How convenient. Undergraduates, it says 11,753. So you have the Rising Bible verse and the Back to the Future 753, but you also have 175 in that, which is Revelation 17:5, Mystery Babylon the Great, all capitalized. So they really did it up there with that. They really want us to think this is the date. We've been down this road before. This could all be a big fat nothing burger. Forrest Gump 2, September 7th. It gives us a death and rising. Forrest Gump came out on my birthday, 7/6, 1994. So what was I? 33 years old. Interesting. They're number 33. And if you run it to the rising day, it's 113 for rising. One World Trade Tower opened on November 3rd. That represents rising. The twins go down. One rises back up. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises. We've played this game before, haven't we? It's 31 years, 2 months, 1 day. So there's 3, 1, 2, 1, or Antichrist code. But get back to the days. There's your 138 is in the days, which is Donald Trump and Simple Gematria, and then him being 86. So it's 11,386 or 11386. Forrest Gump, and this is all about Jenny. I may or may not know somebody named Jenny, born May 3rd, 1973. Want to see that number? May times 3 times 1973. That's what took me down this rabbit hole, because I remembered potentially, let's just say anybody born on this day. There's got to be a Jenny somewhere born on this day, right? 95, September 5th, September 5th, or 5/9, the way where she might live writes it in their country. They write their dates backwards in other countries, don't they? They sure do. Forrest Gump featuring Jenny is a direct smash hit to the rising day. If you run it to the 86'ing day, you still have your 11/3 and 138, but it becomes 31 years, 1 month, 30 days. So it's a palindrome of 3/113. 37, 37 in the month and days. Again, if you run it to the rising day, it turns into 374 months. 37, the 12th prime number. The next progression of 37 is 74. They're fused together right there at 374. Remember, the third progression is 111, and that divides evenly into 666 all the way through 999. 37 divides into 111 all the way through 999 evenly. 666, 777, 888, 555, all of them. Forrest Gump's other release date Forrest Gump's, hang on just a quick second. All right, I had to clean up my page there, my prep. The Forrest Gump's other release date, if you run it to the rising day, there's your 113 for rising fused with 399, which is murder in the Jewish Hebrew gematria. So you literally have rising and death, or death and rising, heavily coded right there. Forrest Gump featuring Jenny. Jenny Forrest Gump, let's take a look. It says 77-121. So this 5/3, 1973, Jenny, to the Forrest Gump premiere, 7721. 21 years, 1 month, 2 days, 2112 code palindrome. 1103 in the weeks, again, November 3rd, representing rising. So the weeks matches the days, rising on September 7th, 77. That's heavy duty. You run Jenny to Forrest Gump's wide release, 7734, with 254 in the months. Day 254 has 111 days left in the year. That happens every year on September 11th, unless it's a leap year. So when 9/11 took place, it was on day 254. There's 254 in the months. 111 begins the minutes. This is, and remember, somebody born on 5/3/1973, their number is 29595, doubling for you, double, September 5th. And remember, they always give you, remember the 5th of November, November 5th, Marty knocked down the Twin Pines. That's really the ninth month, November 9th. So instead of November 5, it's really 9/5, isn't it? Which is September 5th. Start looking at the song Ginny, 867-5309. And there's your 75 in the middle, which is September 5th, the 86'ing date. So it's 8675 followed by 309. Where did I get this number? Okay. Let's run her by, let me see where I got that number. Oh, I think I multiplied it by 8675309. Her number. Had some miscalculations there. Anyway, so the song 8675309, believe it or not, came out on Maggie Gyllenhaal's birthday, November 16th, just 4 years later, 1981. Maggie Gyllenhaal is the only person that's been in The Dark Knight and Donnie Darko. And her birthday is 11/16, or the eve of 11/17. And that's what Maggie stands for on The Simpsons. As you know, The Simpsons is always about predictive programming, and it's all been about the Antichrist in the end times. That's all anything is about. So Jenny, to the song November 16th, 1981. Okay, so her birthday of 5/3/1973 to the song 8675309, Jenny, I Got Your Number. Begins with 86 now. The Antichrist being 86. I want you to look. 3,119 days. People call that a backwards 9/11, but it's also Donald. Donald is 119 in simple gematria. 8 years, 6 months, 13 days. There's your 86 code. So if I know a person named Jenny, personally and very personally, there's got to be a Jenny somewhere on the earth. There's a Jenny born on every day of the year. So let's assume that there is a Jenny born on 5/3/1973. So this is pretty freaky. Jenny 2, somebody named Jen, potentially also that I know, 22 days apart. Gen 2 Rising, also the George Floyd date of 5/25. 2, 8675309. She has the 309 in the days to the song. 3097. 97 is what? Our rising date. 8675309. There's 3097. With another Jen or Jenny that I know. What are the chances? Yeah, they're 22 days apart. Remember, the 22nd prime number is 79, which is murder in simple gematria. And the bus that the Joker drove out in said District 22. That is why it said 22 on it, the 22nd prime number. That whole movie was full of prime numbers. Remember, the 135th prime number is 761, the amount of verses in Daniel and Revelation, the 200 times Gospels. And they had two license tags back to back within 2 minutes of each other, 135 and then 761. We've shown you that before. '86ing to rising. I have to look at that. Also, where did I miss that? '86ing to rising. I don't know why I said that in here. 750. Oh, the song. I'm sorry. We don't need the date calendar things anymore. It's just the song. 867 5309 86 on September 5th to Rising 309. Oh yeah, that's was in her days, whatever. I don't know. So the B-side of 8675309 on Wikipedia says the B-side says not say goodbye. Ginny 8675309 Wikipedia. When you key it in, it says here B-side, not say goodbye. Horrible grammar. Why? To fit the gematria that gives you October 2nd in the date, 1002. And it also gives you 1199 or 119 Donald in the Jewish Hebrew gematria. Not say goodbye, October 2nd, Donnie Darko Day with Donald. Donald Darko. Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Comes to Ark of the Covenant in the Jewish, Phoenix Rising, and Elvis Presley in the Simple. On Wednesday last night, the serial killers, with 56 minutes left, they show you the serial killer's license tag. Here's your date, 95. John Murder Day. His middle name is John. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. It's a Kansas tag. And it's got the date of September 5th right there on it. What are the chances of that? Wikipedia keeps trying to charge me $275 for a donation. 75 is our murder date of September 5th, written cryptically. September was once the 7th month. We don't even need to say any more on that. That's plain and simple. Just keep going. Hines Ward and Lynn Swan. Hines Ward, 86, who played in The Dark Knight Rises, ran the touchdown. His birthday is 3/8 for murder. 1976. There's your 97 right there. All in his birthday, death and rising. 38 is death and murder in the 4 base ciphers. Of course, there's your 97. When you look up Hines Ward, who was in The Dark Knight, Seoul, South Korea, too. March 8th, 1976. Look at him to the rising day, because he was in The Dark Knight Rises running that touchdown when everything collapsed. 18,080 or 188. Plain and simple. If you run him to the 86ing day, and include both dates. You got 1879. Drop the 0. You got 187 fused with 79. 79 is murder and simple gematria. If you don't include both dates, you still have the 187. But you can always include both dates if you want to. They do, and how they bounce things off. So we can too, can't we? Then there's Lynn Swan, who put me on national television, Super Bowl 25 pregame show, as a guy asked me to hold up his blanket saying, "Will you marry me?" He got Lynn Swan's attention. Lynn Swan said, "Yeah, we'll put it on TV." Called his producers, or asked his producers with the headset, whatever. And I was on national television holding up some guy's sheet. That's just simple trivia for you. If you run Lynn Swan to the rising day, remember he's 88 and the MVP in Super Bowl, where the score was 2117 or TO, the Beast Rising Bible verse, Revelation 11:7, 2117, 21 to 17, 2117. He's 882 months old. Lynn Swan is on the rising day. It's 383 and 5 weeks. 38 is murder. 83 is murder. So on the murder day, he's 383, 5 weeks even, 3,835 weeks. But if you notice Lynn Swan in the days 268, we showed you in yesterday's video, 68 comes to his name and Antichrist in the same cipher. I think it's Donald J. Trump. I think it's with the J. And notice on the rising day, it's 47. So that means on the 86th day, it'd be 45. 268.45, then 268.47, death and rising, 45 to 47, his two numbers. Along with that 68, Donald Trump Antichrist, or Donald J. Trump Antichrist. There it is, the Donald J. Trump 68 in reverse reduction. Antichrist, also 68 in reverse reduction. Remember yesterday we were looking at 149 for his name, and I was wrong. No, it's 149 for Antichrist. That came up in a cipher in an amount of days or something yesterday. So again, Lynn Swan, 268.45, 268.47. So it's saying Donald J. Trump Antichrist 45 on the event day, Donald J. Trump Antichrist 47 on the rising day. 882 in the months, 383 in the weeks. 38 begins the minutes. Yeah, death and murder. So, I mean, gigantic, folks. Gigantic. The years are, if you look at Heinz Ward and you look at Lynn Swan, one was born in the 1970s, the other was born in the 1950s. That's 95 and 97 coded. Special decades. I don't think there were any wars in those decades. There were no wars in the 50s, no wars in the 70s. The Vietnam War ended in the 70s. It's a pretty peaceful time. When did the Vietnam War end? I think 73, 75. So not peaceful. Second half was. But the 50s, I think the 50s might have had the Korean War. Was the Korean War in the 50s? Started on 1950, ended in 53. Okay. But the 50s and the 70s are pretty much known for, all right, there's a film called Black Swan And it has 77 in the URL, followed by 79 and then 98, all fused together. 98th verse is White Horse Crowning. 79 is Murder in Simple Gematria. 77 would be the Rising Day. That's the URL for Black Swan. 8.0 rating. And I did a video called What Are They Trying to Tell Us? Somebody pointed out to me where they were flashing the Swan jersey. What are they trying to tell us? Oh, my friend shot it to me today. I could have swore that was the name of it. All right, let me find it real quick for you. Hang on a second. So there's a thing called Black Swan President. And my video was called What Are They Showing Us? Transfer Portal of Time. And it had Lynn Swan. It had this guy holding up the Lynn Swan, the numbers are in Black Swan. So what can you say? The numbers are black and it's 88 and it's black because Trump would be the Black Swan, just like the film The Black Adam. And they're holding up the Lynn Swan jersey. And Steelers were Gotham's team in The Dark Knight Rises. So Donald Trump, Black Swan president. So that was a thing. It says Black Swan event. It's got his face, Black Swan event. But the picture I was given today in a text, there it was. It said the Black Swan president, and it had his shadow right there. Donald Trump, the Black Swan president, Politico magazine. So they're obviously playing games with this Black Swan situation. And then you harken back to the Black Swan that has a 79 Metascore, 79 for murder. Very interesting stuff. Lynn Swan to the Black Swan film. 58 years, 9 months, 11 days. You have 9/11 coded. 21,470 days. 47 is coded. And you have 705 months. September 5th, event day coded. That's including both dates. Straight up. Easy peasy. I'm told to look at the hours here of Lynn Swan to the Black Swan, and it's 5/12, 688. 5/12 is 8 times 8 times 8, followed by 688, which is Donald Trump, Antichrist, fused with Trump, 88. 68 is also the reversal of 86, so it represents rising. So that's just numbers all over the place. The minutes had 3076, 761, the amount of verses in Daniel, Revelation combined. Timetable, let me see what it says here. And this is 30228, 12/4/1942. I forget what that was. It was given to me by my friend, but I don't remember what it was. I looked it up. Anyway, if you look at Natalie Portman, To the Rising Day, she's a palindrome, 16161. And she played the Black Swan. Hmm. And Lynn Swan to the Black Swan, or Natalie Portman to Lynn Swan, 1-0. So drop the zero. It's just 1686 or 686. Donald Trump Antichrist being 86'd. It's also Death and Rising fused together, 68 and 86. 86 means to eliminate or to kill or to murder. 68 is a reversal of that. So that is just fantastical. If you run the Super Bowl 10 to the event where Lynn Swann was MVP, you have your 49, which is Antichrist, 720, which is The Dark Knight Rises, came out on 720. But you look at the months, it's 595. So it's the date of the event to the rising day or the 86ing day. It would just be 595 months, 18 days, or 718. So it's 49 years, 7 months, 18 days. 718 was when The Dark Knight came out. 595 in the months, no matter what. So this is a big, these are absolute killers. Well, in the weeks have 5-9 in it also. If you run it to the rising day, 2590 weeks, death and rising. On the rising day, 59 is in the weeks, or September 5th. Most countries write it 5-9. They think the way we write it is backwards. We say the way they write it is backwards. The reason why you have countries writing it different ways is so you can play games mathematically. More on Swan Super Bowl. The attendance on Wikipedia says 80,187. What are the chances of that? Super Bowl 10. Super Bowl 10, Wikipedia. January 18th, 1976. So there's your 97 again, built into the year. But you look at attendance, 80,187. Tom Sullivan, Up with People, national anthem. Coin toss, Secretary of the Navy, John Warner. John Warner, born February 18th, 1927, died May 25th, 2021. Well, another juicy prep, eh? This is part 6 for September 5th, which is the name of a movie about Black September and the 1972 Olympics, which we are sure was FAKE. Love you.